I received an email from a friend who was wanting to go to a psychic but was feeling hesitant because some of the people she knows were telling her that if she did that she would open herself up to evil spirits. So she asked how to communicate with people like that about that topic, and also if I had any, anything to say about psychics and seeing psychics. And so since I've been dealing with psychics for a long time, and I'm a bit psychic myself, and my business relates to psychics as well, I had a lot of thoughts about that, so I thought I'd make a video about this topic, in particular wanting to focus upon this concept of opening yourself up to evil spirits. This tends to be a concept that comes from Christian perspectives, kind of old school fear-based Christianity. And the purpose, I think, of the concept of evil spirits is to keep people afraid because they're easier to control. So if you invent concepts like hell and the devil and demons and, just evil in general in the spirit realm, then you're going to be able to control the minds of people, make them behave the way that you want them to, which a lot of organized religion is about, controlling behavior as opposed to getting you in touch with a true spiritual understanding of what's going on. So the way I look at it, I don't think there are any evil spirits. I think evil spirit is an oxymoron, and here's why. I believe that in the spirit realm all is one and everything is interconnected, and there is no duality such as good and bad. I believe this physical experience that we're having, based on various works that I've read, like Conversations with God and so forth, relates to this experience relates to wanting to have a contrasting experience from spirit so that we understand what we're not. So we understand separateness, and that helps us understand who we truly are more deeply, which is oneness, unity, and interconnectedness. And so it's just like the concept of day means something because there's night. Anytime there's contrast, it helps you understand each side of the duality. And so this experience of life has evil, but only within human minds. You wouldn't say that like a dog chasing a cat is evil, at least I hope you wouldn't, or back pre-human that there was any evil before humans, such as one dinosaur eating another dinosaur or something like that. And so it only exists in the human mind, this concept of evil. In the spirit realm, it's all oneness. And if you see the spirit realm as something that has elements that could be out to get you, then that can make you paranoid and be less likely to open up to the spiritual realm, which is an omnipresent source of guidance that is in your best interest and has your growth and peace as its agenda, because there is peace without duality, and that is what the spirit realm is. So I would not be afraid of evil spirits, and although these concepts might not resonate for other people who are telling you psychics will open you up to that, this, I believe, is the truth of the situation. There are no evil spirits, and people that have experienced evil spirits tend to have had those experiences from a place of an unpeaceful mind. And so the inner conflict is projected outward into various hallucinations or just imaginings that make people think they're having an evil spirit experience. So if they have guilt that's unresolved, that's been suppressed, that might be projected outward. If they have perhaps inner conflict about life situations that are leading to extreme anxiety, depression, signs of unresolved issues that need to be dealt with on an emotional and psychological level, that can be projected outwards. And also people who've had some drug experiences where the mind can be overactive and creative and come up with demons and whatever, that kind of experience as well. But I've never witnessed, I've been at this spiritual work stuff for quite a while, 14 years or so, And really, in my own experience, there is no evil in the spirit realm. I feel that I've connected with spiritual energies in a variety of ways, but haven't run into any evil. The only conflict and fear that I've experienced comes from my own mind, from my ego. And I wanted to address, in dealing with psychics and seeing psychics, I would say that whenever you're seeing somebody who's giving you feedback, whether it's a psychic, counselor, medical doctor, any kind of expert in their field, always compare what they're saying against your feelings. Don't take in anything from any professional completely, because any human being has ego. So even if somebody has gifts in a certain area of clarity and intuition and so forth, then if it just doesn't resonate, don't buy into it just because they're saying it to you. And I think most people understand that ultimately they're not going to go against anything that's against their own feelings. I would also suggest try to stay focused in the now. A lot of people will try to get a psychic to tell them things like, when is my soulmate going to come along, and what's that person going to look like, and so forth. And the future is something that we are creating. And I believe, from the readers I know, most of them would like to help you stay in the present. They will go along, but with predictions and so forth as part of their job. And some people flat out say, I won't deal with that stuff because you're creating your reality. But your future, I believe, is like a vector that's headed in a certain direction, and that the farther out you try to predict from this moment, the more variations there can be based on different choices that you make along the way. And my spiritual practice is more about living in the present, not concerning myself so much about what's going to happen next, what's going to happen in the future. So I have used psychics to help clarify things that I'm confused about in the moment. And I have had some very positive experiences with people giving me, tuning into something that I may have sensed on some level was there, but was not admitting to myself fully, and getting more clear about the now allows me to make more informed decisions that lead to a better future. So I would also say that tune into the person. If you're seeing a psychic or talking to one on the phone or whatever, tune into their energy. Does this sound like a person who's clear? Does this sound like a person who is at peace? Do they have an energy that feels like wisdom? Or do they seem kind of neurotic? Because just because somebody is intuitive, clairvoyant, whatever, the various ways in which information can come to somebody, doesn't mean that they are working on their own issues. And that can, in any profession, basically get in the way of them being able to give good guidance. So that's another thing that I would tune into, is that while they are interviewing you about what's going on in your life, you're interviewing them in the sense of tuning into their vibe and seeing, is this a person who I sense is centered and clear? And if not, I'll take what they say with a grain of salt. So those are my thoughts on that. Thanks for listening.